Hey everybody, welcome to Take a Jill Pill. Thanksgiving is coming up, and unfortunately, even though it's a holiday, Thanksgiving can be really stressful. All of your crazy family is coming to town and there's so much cooking. Now, I personally love to cook, but I feel like at Thanksgiving there's just so much more pressure for your food to be extra delicious. So, I have the perfect solution for you. Today I'm going to show you how to make a pecan pie. But not just any pecan pie, because remember, this is Thanksgiving. People take it seriously. I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate pecan pie. It's insanely delicious and kind of impressive. Your guests are going to love it. So if you're interested in learning how to do that, keep watching.
Okay, first we're going to start with our pie crust. You can do this with a fork and a bowl, but I like to use my food processor. So we have 3.5 cups of flour, just regular all-purpose flour. Then we're going to do 1.5 teaspoons salt. Now, this next ingredient, this is lard. This is 1/2 pound of lard. You can use butter if you like. I prefer to use lard, but whatever you use, just make sure it is cold, right out of the fridge. That helps to create a flaky crust. I'm going to put that together, and I'm just going to pulse it in the food processor until it's like crumbly. And the way I like to test it is I pinch different sections of the flour, and if they compact together, then I know that the lard is evenly distributed. If I can pinch anywhere in the flour and it compacts, then I know it's ready. Ready for my liquid ingredients, which are 1 egg. And this is a tablespoon of lemon juice, or you can use vinegar if you prefer, but I like lemon juice. It gives it a brighter flavor. And then we're going to add in 5 tablespoons of ice cold water. I believe I only show myself adding 4 tablespoons here, but it's 5 tablespoons. Okay, and then you're just going to pulse it until basically it comes into one big ball. And it's going to have the consistency of Play-Doh. You can kind of see that it's moldable, and that's going to make it really easy to roll out. Okay, so I've floured my surface, and I've got my dough ball there. This recipe makes 4 crusts, so with the leftovers from the recipe, you're going to want to wrap them in plastic wrap and just keep them in the fridge, because again, it needs to be left cold. Okay, so I floured my surface like I said. I got my rolling pin. I like to put a little bit of flour on my rolling pin just to keep my pie dough from sticking to the rolling pin. And then I also like to sprinkle a little bit on top of the dough. I'm pushing it into a circle just to get my shape started a little bit. It makes it a little bit easier when you start rolling out. And when you start rolling, you can turn it if you like. You always want to start in the center of the dough and then roll outwards. We're going to get this to roughly a 13-inch circle for a 9-inch pie plate. And it's kind of a circle. It's kind of like a square with rounded edges, but that's okay. I like to fold it in half and then place it halfway into my pie plate. Like so. And then you just unfold it. Like that. You're going to want to make sure that all the edges are tucked in into the corners of the pie plate. You don't want any air bubbles underneath, or you're going to have a misshapen, odd pie. So just make sure it's completely covered on the bottom. And there we go. Seated in there nicely. So now you're going to take a butter knife and you're going to cut off the excess dough on the edge. But really, you're not cutting anything. You're mostly pressing the dough against the edge of the pie dish, and that's really what cuts it. It's not the sharpness of the knife at all. Like that. And then you can go back and fix any little cracks you see. because we're getting ready to flute the edges. Now, so when you flute the edges, you take your pointer finger of one hand and your thumb and pointer of the other, and you're just going to push the dough between those fingers like this. And for whatever reason, this is not a talent of mine. I find other methods of this so much easier. So if you'd like to see more creative way to do pie crusts, let me know in the comments below, and I'd be happy to do more detailed pie crust videos. And there you have it. Pretty fluted edge. As pretty as I can do it. Now you're going to cover it and put it in the fridge to keep it cold. And in the meantime, we're going to do our filling. Okay, so on the stovetop, I have a half a cup of butter, a cup of light corn syrup, and a cup of sugar. And you're just going to boil it till it gets to a nice rolling boil, 10-15 seconds or so till all the butter's melted. And then while that is cooling, you're going to put 4 eggs in a bowl. That is a teaspoon of vanilla extract and a 1/4 teaspoon salt. You're just going to whisk those up together really well. Love these eggs. They're from my chickens in my backyard. So just whisk those really well, and then you're going to slowly pour in just a thin stream of that hot syrup that you just made while continuing to whisk. If you don't whisk, or if you pour in the syrup too quickly, you will just scramble your eggs, and this is not a scrambled egg pie. That is not what we want. This is not a quiche. You're going to dump in your chocolate chips. Oh, no chocolate chip left behind. And just continue whisking until all of that beautiful chocolate is melted and incorporated. And this is the 6 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. We're using semi-sweet simply because we already have sugar and corn syrup in here, and so a milk chocolate would be too sweet. We need something to cut the sweetness a little bit, so we're going to use semi-sweet chocolate. Okay, then we're going to get our beautiful pie crust out of the fridge and slowly pour the filling into the crust. Now you want to be extra careful to not get any filling on the edges of the crust, because not only will it look bad, it will burn and make your house smell. Now I'm going to lay the pecans on top. You can definitely just chop these up and add them to the filling and dump them in that way, but I like to do a pretty pattern on the top. I do a big plus sign on the top just to kind of divide the pie into quadrants. And then I fill in the quadrants kind of randomly, just filling as I go. I like the little more random look. And make sure to not overlap your pecans, that way they roast evenly. There we go. Now when you put it in the oven, make sure you put it on a cookie sheet, and the oven's at 325. And to check it, make sure it only jiggles slightly. And oh my goodness, look at that gooey, delicious pie. And that's it. Easy, right? Jill pills are supposed to be easy to swallow. That's the whole point of this channel, is keeping things as simple as possible. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know your guests are going to love the pie, and happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're able to just enjoy, kick back, relax, and take it easy.